We're so glad you could join us today as we explore new ways to enrich the lives of older adults through engaging and meaningful activities. Today, we're diving into a simple yet powerful activity that enhances cognitive health, fosters connection, brings joy to older adults, and so many more. Whether you're an elder yourself, or a caregiver, or simply someone who believes in the power of lifelong learning and engagement, you're in for a treat. So, we're honored to have our expert panelist today with us. She is the Arts and Aging Research Director at Encore Creativity for older adults, bringing years of experience in choral music and music education. She has brought the activity of singing to people of all ages, from young children to older adults, and has been instrumental in developing programs that use music to improve the lives of those experiencing memory loss. She was a key figure in launching Sentimental Journey Singers, a choir designed for individuals with early to mid stage memory loss and their care partners. This program was the beginning of Anchor's Arts for Life initiative, which now includes Melody Makers, a music experience for those with later stage memory loss. Through her research and leadership, she continues to advocate for the benefits of music in aging. Now, before we start, just a quick note. If you've got any questions, and I hope you do, because it makes things a lot interesting, simply hold on to them, type them in the chat box or in the Q&A portion here in Zoom, and we will be answering them in the Q&A portion at the end of the presentation. Anyway, I know you guys are excited. Ladies and gentlemen, I am too. We can't wait to hear from our expert panelists today. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into this fascinating discussion. Let's all welcome Dr. Marianne East. Welcome.
Thank you so much. What a lovely introduction. I hope I can live up to everything that Dexter talked about. My name is Marianne East, and I am the Arts and Aging Research Director at Encore Creativity for older adults. I do come out of a background of choral music education, where I taught as a public school teacher, as well as an adjunct college professor at George Mason University in their School of Music for a number of years. And I found my way to Encore, honestly, by trying to find music making opportunities during the day. So many of our music making opportunities are in the evening. And I have two children, and I was looking for things to do while they were at school. And so I came to Encore as one of our chorale conductors, working with an older adult choir. And as I worked with the organization, I got more involved, as Dexter talked about, helping them develop our Arts for Life programming, which concentrates right now on music experiences for those experiencing memory loss. We hope that in the future, we will also develop programming for other specific health conditions, but that's where our concentration is right now. So the first thing I want to do is talk to you a little bit about the importance of singing and why Encore Creativity exists in the first place. And we came out of research. And so that research was conducted. I'm going to skip ahead to our kind of timeline here. We were part of Dr. Gene Cohen's creative aging study in 2001. Dr. Gene Cohen worked as a gerontologist at George Washington University and was a creative person himself and very interested in how creativity in all forms can help us be healthy and help us age in a healthy way. So through funding with the NEA, National Endowment of the Arts, and National Institutes of Health, they created this 2-year study. And here in Washington, D.C., they had a choral group. Up in New York, they had a theater group. And out in San Francisco, they had a dance troupe. And so they engaged older adults. I believe the study was 60 and older, for 2 years in regular attendance um, at each of these creative outlets. And so Gene Kelly, who was then working at the Levine School of Music, was tapped to conduct this choir in Washington, D.C. So, of course, as with all clinical studies, they come to an end. And at the end of the 2 years, they had great results. And I'm going to share some of those in just a moment. But the biggest thing was the group of singers said, but wait, we don't want to stop singing. What do you mean it's over? So Gene Kelly then decided, well, if they want to keep singing, what would it look like to found an organization that was solely focused on working with the older adult population? So in 2007, she incorporated the group under Encore Creativity for older adults. And that's where we've been growing since. So looking at some of these items around singing and health and our community, is that according to the Surgeon General's report, I don't know, you've probably heard it in a couple of places, loneliness is, he actually called it an epidemic in our society, this idea of isolation, social isolation, and that was only exacerbated by COVID-19 when we all had to be alone or nearly alone. So we look at these opportunities for singing, that they help us build community. It's not just that we come and we sing and we leave, but that we're really building community. And as we build community within the choir, we find that many of our singers become more involved in the greater community, in where they live. They're involved in other activities as well. We also know that music and memory are deeply linked. And so, as we have been working on this specific programming for those with memory loss, um, we are looking at the science behind that. That music is actually stored in a part of the brain that is not affected by most Alzheimer's and other dementias. And if you've ever tried, I always pick this trick, name the 8 reindeer. And how many of you went, you know, Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, right? The minute you sing it, it all comes together because it's linked to something musical. And we know that singing creates a positive environment, both socially, mentally, and physically connecting singers to others with that idea of a common goal that we're all using our individual voices, but we're bringing them together for this communal music making. So some of the specific things that they found in that 2001 study is that with a 90-minute per week rehearsal, that people experienced decreased loneliness and isolation. That would make the Surgeon General very happy. Reduced levels of depression, anxiety, and stress. Even listening to music, if you're not actively making it, but you're engaged through listening, that can also have a positive effect. Decrease in prescription and over-the-counter medications, an increase in morale, an interest in daily life, that idea of becoming more involved in the greater community as well. Increased, oh, I'm sorry. So sorry about that. Increased cognitive functioning and memory, just what we were talking about. Fewer doctor visits, medical intervention, even fewer falls. And again, that sustained involvement in community and local activities. So there are many, many benefits to becoming part of a communal singing process. I'm sorry that this keeps skipping around. Music and physical health. So, as we work in choral singing, I don't know how many of you may have had choral singing experience, whether that was as a child or through high school or in your church. We know that it promotes proper posture, right? The first thing that I always tell my singers is get comfortable in your chair, but not too comfortable, making sure that you're sitting up tall and strong. It improves breathing and lung function because we are working on that specifically through our singing. We do a lot of measured breathing exercises. So I want to try one of those if you're willing to try that with me. So again, get comfortable in your chair, but not too comfortable. Make sure that you're nice and tall. You have room for your lungs to expand. The lungs are like balloons. We want them to be able to expand in all directions as we breathe. So I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of what I call measured breathing. So measured breathing just means that we're going to keep a beat and a count to use to measure our inhalation and our exhalation. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to empty your lungs, blow it all out. And then we're going to breathe in on 4. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to hiss it out on 4. 2, 3, 4. Good. Now take a regular breath. Blow it all out. We're going to breathe in on 4. Ready? Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to hiss it out on 8. Ready? 2, 3, 4. Keep hissing. 5, 6, 7, 8. Let the rest of it go. Take a regular breath. Good. We're going to try one more. We're going to breathe it all out. We're going to breathe into 4 and we're going to exhale on 12. So breathe it all out. Breathe in on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hiss it out on 12. Ready? 2, 3, 4. Keep hissing. 5, 6. You're halfway there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let it go and just breathe naturally. So what we find with that measured breathing, a few things happen. It's a great way to re-regulate your heart if you're in a moment of anxiety and you find that your heart rate is increasing. That's a great way to bring that heart rate back down because you've measured it, you've given it a rhythm of that breath. The other thing that we find is, of course, breathing oxygenates the blood. And when we think about our breathing, right, breathing is an involuntary action. It's something that we do, and we are built to do it until we take our last one. So we don't think about it a lot. But when we're in the situation of singing, suddenly we're conscious of our breath. And so we think about how we're sitting for that breathing. We're thinking in that measured breathing, how big are my lungs getting? How am I measuring my exhalation so I can get all the way to 12, right? So we're engaging not only the mind, but with the body. And there's a great connection of mind and body. So we're working on that breathing and that lung function. It also reduces tension in the body and the muscles. Again, a lot of times we don't think about our posture. We have a lot of habits about those things. So suddenly we're thinking about keeping the shoulders relaxed, right? How many of us, especially in the Washington, D.C. area, I had the unfortunate experience of having to drive through evening rush hour traffic last night. I am very blessed. Usually I don't have to drive in rush hour. I do things in the middle of the day, but I sat in that rush hour traffic at 5 o'clock last night, and I could feel my whole body was really, really tense by the time I got home. So again, when we go into a choir rehearsal, the first thing we think about, what is our body doing? Because our body is our instrument. So how are we holding it? Are we relaxed but strong, right? And it, as we talked about just then, of course, the posture as well. And it also produces endorphins. Endorphins are those good chemicals that make us happy. Um, so we know that being in community can do that, but also engaging in an activity like music making, whether that's singing or instrumental as well, even going to a concert can release those endorphins and make us happy. We also find, and this was not part of their study, but has been found in other studies, that as people sing together, their heart rates actually start to synchronize because we're breathing together, we're moving together, we're doing something at the same tempo together. So our hearts actually start to synchronize with each other, which I think is fascinating, but also kind of warm and fuzzy, right? To think that all these people around me, our hearts are beating as one as we participate in this activity. So there are so many physical benefits. There's also emotional benefits along with those endorphins, right? It reduces depression and negative mood. We find, especially with my sentimental journey singers that Dexter mentioned at the beginning of the session, that's our choir for those with early to mid stage cognitive change or memory loss. One of the biggest comments that I get from their care partners that come and sing with them is they're in such a better mood at the end of the rehearsal. They might have been a little grumpy getting there in the morning, but by the end, their mood is improved. They're more engaged. They're talking more. Um, and so we find that if you're having a bad day, sing a song. And even Dan Levitin, who is an amazing psychologist and musician as well, he does a lot of research on music making and especially the brain as a neurologist. He will tell you that even singing a sad song when you're sad will make you feel better because it gives us a sense of owning that emotion and that it's okay to feel sad and we have a way to express it and move through it. So even, I know that sounds kind of funny to say, sing a sad song, it'll make you feel better. But it does, it helps us process those emotions. It's a way of experiencing them if we maybe can't talk about it. Again, those endorphins come back in, and it significantly improves baseline morale. Where is that kind of general mood that you have? And we find that that general mood increases through participating in this. And again, it gives you a creative outlet. It gives you a way to meet people that like doing the same things you're doing. It's a way of building your community. So those are some of the emotional health benefits. And then that's very linked to our mental health as well. From research with AARP, they published a paper called Music on Our Minds. If you have not read that, you can find that on their website. And it talks about, again, how music impacts the different regions of the brain. Coming out of an educational background, we talk a lot about Gardner's 7 intelligences. You may have heard that term. Those are intelligences like interpersonal, you're good with people, linguistic, you're great at learning languages and picking up new languages, mathematical, you're good with numbers, spatial, you're great with moving things around. You're good at putting art on the wall because you have that spatial intelligence. Music is its own intelligence. They have identified it. And so that involves things like feeling rhythm, hearing different pitches, being able to tell when the melody goes up and down. But it also involves things like that language center. It involves emotion. It involves critical thinking. As you're listening to a piece that you maybe have never heard before, most of us are trying to figure out what's going to happen next. It's like watching a movie, right? Don't go through that door. What's going to happen? The same thing we are also doing when we're listening to a piece of music. Is it going to end the same way, or is it going to do something new and exciting? And so it's a way to stimulate the brain as well. Um, and of course, there are two things that are very closely linked to memory. One is your sense of smell. If you've ever, say, gone to a restaurant and you smell a certain dish, and it takes you right back to your grandmother's kitchen. The other is music. To hear a piece of music or sing a piece of music that has a very strong link to a particular memory. And many of those memories tend to be in our late adolescent lifetime. That late teenage, early 20s tends to be our greatest memories that are linked to music. So if you think of maybe when you met your sweetheart or a significant moment in your life, often there are pieces of music that go along with that, right? Many of us, if we were married, had a first dance and you chose that piece of music for that first dance. So it has a great connection to those memories and those emotions. Um, Again, stimulating thinking skills when we're learning, right? It's great to sing songs we know and have known for a long time, singing along with the radio, singing in the shower, those types of activities, but also learning a new song, whether that's something in church or something in a choral situation, or even a new song on the radio that you've never heard before, or a song that a friend is teaching you, as well as playing instruments and dancing. All of those things stimulate the brain because we're learning something new. And something we do with our sentimental journey singers, as well as our melody makers group, which is a musical experience for those in the later stages of memory loss. We're always teaching them something new. There is this thought, if you remember that old adage, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, you certainly can. Their learning happens. It may not happen as quickly as it used to, which can be a little frustrating, but it can still happen. I can go back to the one of my memory floor groups, one of my melody makers groups. So again, these are folks that are in the later stages of memory loss. And I can sing the first three notes of a song that they'd never heard before, and I taught them even a couple months ago. And I can sing those first three notes, and don't you know they all join in? They don't all join in right away, but eventually they're all singing it and they have learned something new. And that's so exciting to see, because often those things are forgotten, that we are able to learn new things all the way up to the end. We can help manage stress, right? Because hopefully our goal at Encore is, yes, we want to challenge you to learn new things, but we want you to have fun doing it. That is part of our mission statement. The word fun is right in there, providing fun for older adults. So we want it to be something enjoyable, because if it's not enjoyable, are you going to come back next week to rehearsal? Probably not. So we want to make sure that it's something that is stimulating and engaging, but also fun. Positively affects the mind by physically, we've talked about this before, reducing blood pressure, regulating that heart rate, and it can also improve sleep. You've done something active, right? And I find that if I've been active during the day, I fall asleep a lot better at night than if it's been one of those kind of like today, it's kind of gray outside here in DC. And that's not always very motivating. If I've had kind of a lazy day, it's hard for me to fall asleep. I need to be active, right? So those are some of the mental health pieces as well. So overall, singing keeps you healthy mentally, physically, and emotionally. And that's what we aim to do at Encore and all of our different programs that we offer. So I know that I can't see you on camera. I wish I could. But I hope that you would be willing to engage a little bit more. And so find yourself in that comfortable but nice and strong posture again. And I'm going to have you put one hand kind of on your upper chest so that you can feel your breath a little bit moving and just breathe regularly. I'd invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that and just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Great. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because we don't need it for this. And I'm going to open up my chat and I'm going to ask you, I'm going to teach you a song and then I'm going to ask you to engage in the chat a little bit. So this is a song that I learned actually at a church I used to attend years ago. It was written by a friend of mine after September 11th. Speaking of great memories in our lifetime, most of us know exactly where we were when all of that happened. And after that great event in our history, my friend realized how much anxiety she was experiencing personally. Even leaving the house, it was very, very difficult. So she realized she needed something to get her centered before she could engage in some activity. So she wrote this song. Super easy. If any of you are thinking, I don't sing, yes, you do. Dan Levitin would say, you sang before you spoke. So it's based on the idea of that measured breathing. Okay. So the first part is what we call a drone. It's only one note and it's like a mantra. So it goes like this. Breathe in, breathe out. That's it. Join me. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep going. Breathe in, breathe out. So you can do that. That is a wonderful exercise to, again, bring that anxiety down and regulate the heart rate. So that's one part of the song. Another part of the song says, when I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. So I'll say that again. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. So I'll sing a little bit. Join in when you get the hang of it. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. So now if we were live together, we would be ideally sitting in a circle and singing that. And then I would invite people to think about what would you like to breathe in today and what would you like to breathe out today. So breathing in, I think of something I want to take in. I want to take in peace. Breathing in and out can be two different interpretations for me. One, it can be what do I want to send out into the world, breathing out love, or I also treat it as an opportunity to release something. Is there something that you want to release today? So I'm going to invite you, if you would like to, I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to go into the chat. And if there's something you'd like to breathe in today and or something that you would like to breathe out today. So let me give you a couple of seconds to type something, and then we're going to bring it into our song. What would you like to breathe in today? And what would you like to breathe out today? Oh, breathing out tension. You bet. Love and joy. Stressless moments. Boy, if I know how to find those, I'm going to box that up. All right, keep typing. Okay. While you're typing, I'm going to put some of these ideas into our song. All right. So let us breathe in some joy today and let us breathe out some tension. Okay. Ready? When I breathe in, I breathe in joy. When I breathe out, I breathe out tension. When I breathe in, I breathe in joy. When I breathe out, I breathe out tension. When I breathe in, I breathe in joy. When I breathe out, I breathe out tension. Good. I see Clara's breathe in some love and breathe out some sorrow. It's okay to do that. It's okay to do that. Let's do that a little bit. Let's breathe in some love and breathe out some sorrow. Ready? When I breathe in, I breathe in love. When I breathe out, I breathe out sorrow. When I breathe in, I breathe in love. When I breathe out, I breathe out sorrow. When I breathe in, I breathe in love. When I breathe out, I breathe out sorrow. So this is something that is very simple to do. You don't have to have a choir to do this. This is something you can do even personally or with your loved one, with your family, with a small group. But it's very, very simple. And if people aren't sure what they want to breathe in and breathe out in the moment, they can simply stay on that first mantra that we had. Breathe in, breathe out. You can actually sing them both at the same time. That is not a wonder of Zoom. unfortunately, to be able to sing all at the same time. Again, if we were live in person, I would have some of us singing that breathe in, breathe out, while others sang the other piece. But it's a wonderful way if you need a moment to center yourself, or if you need a moment with your loved one, to bring you together. Doesn't take any sheet music. You don't have to have any prior experience to do any of these things. And that's really what what I want to stress today, is that in our Western society, we have this idea of music and art and theater are for special people that have had training or have talent, right? It's not. It's for everyone. Again, many of us sang before we spoke. If you look at a toddler, right, they're always making sing-songy kinds of sounds before they have words. They love to bang on pots and pans. They don't need to learn necessarily an instrument, right? Anything can be an instrument. And so we want to embrace those moments that we tend to lose as we grow up. That idea of what we call, big fancy word, improvisation. Big fancy word to say, do what you want and make it up as you go along. My husband, when my kids were little, used to make up songs as we were doing things around the house, right? And now we're making eggs, and then we're gonna make the bacon. And he would just sing, absolutely out of nowhere. And if you asked him, he is not a musician, he's a scientist. But you don't have to be a musician. We are all musicians. And so these are things that we can engage in. I talk a lot about using music, even just listening to music, will stimulate the brain. Putting music on while you make dinner, putting music on. I'm always listening to music because that's my world. I listen to music when I walk the dog. Definitely in the car. That definitely helps to reduce the stress level driving around here. But really, the idea that it can be used anywhere at any time for a multitude of purposes. If you have seen the Robin Williams movie Awakenings, that came out, gosh, in the early 90s, it is about, it's based on the life of a doctor who worked, a neurologist and a gerontologist. And there's a really awesome moment in the movie. So he's working with people that are catatonic, that are not speaking, not moving. They don't really engage in the outside world. And there's a moment where he's trying to get one of the patients to eat and just can't seem physically, there's nothing wrong with her. She can lift, she can move, but she just won't. And he starts playing music. And don't you know, it takes a couple of seconds, but she starts to engage. She starts to feed herself because there was something to stimulate it. I've watched the staff members on some of the memory care floors that I come in and make music with the residents there. And at the end, we have a song that I always start with. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you today. Anybody recognize that melody? I'll give you a couple minutes if you want to throw it in the chat. But we use that to start. And then at the end of the session, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. It was nice to see you today. And I'll notice often I'm on the floor right before lunch. After we're finished, they transition into the dining room for lunch. And the other the other day, one of the residents again was trying to get somebody up and motivated to walk to the dining room. And next thing you know, I hear the staff person sing, "Come on, let's go to lunch. Come on, let's go to lunch." And don't you know, they started walking straight to the dining room because it engaged her again. The song is "Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies." Right? "I'm sorry to leave you now." But you can take simple melodies like that and help to motivate somebody to do something, right? My daughter, one of my children, has an intellectual disability, and her biggest challenge is reading. So it's hard for her to read, but she can sing you anything. And she learned her days of the week, 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 days of the week. Anybody know it yet? There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's Wednesday, there's Thursday and there's Friday, and even Saturday, days of the week, right? Addams Family, right? She didn't even know the Addams Family. She had never seen it before because this was maybe kindergarten, first grade. But she came home, and even today, she's 17. And if she says, "Mommy, what day is it today?" And I'll give her a second and she'll go, "There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's, oh, it's Wednesday." Right? And she retains that. So you can use those simple things, right, to help motivate somebody, to help somebody remember something, to help trigger something that it's time for dinner, right? We sing a song, we know it's time for dinner. The minute I would walk into a room and go, "Hello, everybody," they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's time to make music," because we do that every time right before we make our music. So we have those moments where we can help to move somebody, motivate somebody to do something. It can be as simple as using a familiar song and changing the words, right? She had a song for the months of the year, but I can't remember that one. um, but it's all of those similar things, right? How do we know our ABCs? Because we learned it in a song. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Which is the same as "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star." It's all the same melody, but that's how we learned it, right? Is we linked it to something that will help keep it in the memory really well. And music is one of those pieces, right? Giving somebody a rhythm to walk with. That's used a lot with Parkinson's patients, to get them to regulate their gait, give them a rhythm so that they have something to walk with and they're not trying to have their body figure that out on its own. Can be really helpful. My nephew, at the age of 20, suffered a massive heart attack. And when he was first brought out of his medicated coma, he couldn't speak yet. And the first thing that he started to do was he found, I don't know if it was a pencil or a straw or something, he started to drum on his bedside because he was a percussionist in high school. And the doctor said, "Ooh, did he used to drum?" "Yeah, he used to drum." "Do you have any of his things at home?" "Bring them." Have him start drumming because it's going to get his coordination going. It's going to stimulate his brain. And he got a music therapist in there. Sure enough, helped in his recovery. Music therapy is a whole nother discussion we could have. um, it is not something we do at Encore, because it requires a licensed music therapist, someone who has gone through extensive training and learning. But what we do, we see as therapeutic. So those are two different things that live closely. But music therapy is very individual based on individual physical and mental health goals, whereas we do things that are generally based on physical and mental health, but not specific to a person. Um, so I know I've shared a lot with you, and I would love to know if you have questions or comments. I'm sure we could all probably share a story about a musical experience around memory or around health. But I would love to take these few last minutes for any questions that anybody has.
From Carl, early on the presentation, he mentioned that heard that you should make a playlist of songs that were important to you as a teen or young person. It evokes memories and feelings that trigger moments of lucidity.
Yes, absolutely. There is it's based on that movie that I was talking to you about. The doctor is Oliver Sacks. And he wrote, if you want some light reading, it's about a 600-page book called Musicophilia, which talks about a lot of different ways that music affects the brain. And out of that grew a movement called Music and Memory, which is a service that will help you develop a playlist for yourself or your loved one. Mainly was focused around folks with memory loss, and started with, if you remember, the little tiny iPods that used to exist. They were little tiny squares, and they would help load them up with music. And it was a program that then delivered these little iPods to communities. And they find that if there's a moment of agitation, especially, having just their little playlist with their headphones on was a great way to, again, regulate mood and bring them out of that moment of agitation. There's also a wonderful video through Music in the Mind, which shows different people's experience with that, and how having those headphones on and that music playing, even if they weren't singing to it or dancing to it, having it playing, they were able to engage in conversation. They were able to move better. Again, that idea of ambulating to something with rhythm. It's Dan Cohen runs Music and Memory, and he produced a wonderful video called Alive Inside. That you can find on YouTube. And it's wonderful to see how folks really, really have that spark back, and you can connect with them just having those headphones on with that music. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Anyway, there's pretty much like I don't see much questions, but I'll just tell the people that yeah, we'll be sending you via email presentation notes and the replay. All right. So that's just the question we got. And I'll just be reading some of the comments here. They're beautiful. Thank you so much for this webinar. It's an encouragement for me to share with the elderly people's club in my church. So, that's one thing. People who are watching now, that's something you could do. Um,
Absolutely.
yes, thank you. This is a great moment for me. That's so awesome. This is great. I learned a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love this info. Barbara here said she still uses and listens to her pink square iPod till this day.
Wonderful.
Uh,
I still have
this
it.
talk was
Love the music.
wonderful. Yeah, I volunteer in a memory care unit by playing the piano and leading sing-alongs.
Mm.
Nice. Oh,
Absolutely.
somebody wants your phone number or contact information, Marianne.
Yes, absolutely. The easiest contact is Mary Ann, Maryann, at encorecreativity.org. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. And then if you'd love to have a conversation, we can set up a time to chat. You can also see some of the programs that we offer at Encore, www.encorecreativity.org. You can see all of the programs that we offer. We are nationwide. We have most of our programming in the Washington, D.C. area because this is where we were founded. But we also have programs in New York, California, Ohio, Indiana, and North Carolina, as well as Pennsylvania. So if you're interested in that, or if you need help, if you know someone in one of those areas, let them know that we have a lot of. I didn't talk specifically about a lot of our programming, but we have rock and roll choirs, we have traditional choirs, we have our memory choirs. So lots of opportunities, but really for you to think about what ways you can use music and singing just in your everyday life.
Marianne, I want to thank you. You did a fantastic job. I think we all agree. And if everybody wants to put their thumbs up, I think music is the universal love language for everyone, whether you have a special needs person in your life, whether you have somebody that has any type of dementia or any type of learning disability. And I'll be honest with you, music motivates me. I do listen to my little square iPod. I have over 1,500 songs on there, and they are a little bit of, I don't have a whole lot, but I've got rock and roll. I'm not big into rap. Carl, I don't know about heavy metal. I can dance to that a little bit, but I think that our future, the baby boomers, even the people in their 80s and 90s right now, a little bit of jazz and classical music soothes the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very important that, you don't even have to speak anything. Sometimes it's just the notes that relaxes people's bodies, and it makes a difference in people's lives. But thank you so much. You did a fantastic job. Look at all the hearts coming up there. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure.
We have Sonia here raising her hand. Let's see if she wants to say something.
Yeah, let her say something. There you go.
Sonia. Yeah, there you go.
Hi.
Hello, we can hear you.
Good. Okay. I'm so delighted to be in this program. I like to sing, but I also attend the Aquatic and Recreational Center in Silver Spring, Maryland. And one of the ideas that I gave the senior program director was to have older adults like myself just to have a little chorus or something in the future. And she may be interested, and that's why I was very excited to listen to you today, and maybe to give you a contact. That's why I was asking for your phone number. Would you be interested in touching base with her, or to give us some type of orientation or a talk like this one? Or
Absolutely, yes. Send me information and we can connect. Absolutely.
Okay. The Marianne at encorecreativity.org, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm better with the telephone. I don't do too much emails and stuff. That's why I was asking for the phone number.
If you send me a note, we can set a time to chat. We can schedule a phone call. Absolutely.
Okay, we have one more question here. Thank you, Sonia. One more question, and Jean is raising her hand. Just quickly, from Olukemi, I am in the UK and wondering if you do anything international.
We do not. However, I have done extensive training through the UK because I will be honest, they are much farther ahead than the United States in their idea of arts and health. And so there are many organizations in the UK that do specifically singing and health. I did. Singing for lung health was one of the trainings I did. So there is a Singing for Health network in the UK that you can find on the internet. I think it's Singing for Health. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. And they do a number of trainings. They have a number of singing groups. In the UK. I'm just trying to remember if it's .org. Let me see. I think it is Singing for Health. Can't pull it up right now. That's strange. But there are a number. Yeah, Singing for Health Network. That I was missing the network. Singing for Health Network. I don't know if I can put it in the chat. .co.uk. And they have a whole listing of where their different groups are all around the UK, but they do a lot of that work.
Thank you, Mary. Let me call on Jean. I think she was raising her hand a while ago. Jean, if you can talk right now.
Unmute. Okay. Yeah, I am 85. I've been diagnosed recently with Alzheimer's, and it sounds as though if I can connect with other people, maybe in a singing group. I used to sing in choirs. I love singing. My voice is not as great anymore, but or if you've got any suggestions for video for recordings or anything that I could connect with, I think it will help me to stay focused and maybe not fall into the abyss as quickly as I otherwise would.
I understand. Are you in the DC area at all, Jean?
I'm in Silver Spring.
Oh, you're in Silver Spring. Okay. We have a group in Silver Spring. It is not one of our memory choirs, but we are trying to build a relationship and start one in Silver Spring.
Oh, good.
So keep an eye out for that. We're working right now with a couple of organizations to see if we can start one of our memory specific choirs. Right now we have one of our chorale groups that meets in Silver Spring at the community center, and then we have a rocks group that meets. I believe that one's at the senior center. One's at the community center, and one's at the senior center. So we do have a couple of items, but we are working on building a relationship to start a memory choir in Silver Spring as well.
So how do I just had gotten an email that's out. I knew about this. How can I connect with you or?
You can email me at Maryann, MARYANN.
Wait, MARYANN. Oh God, I can't. I'm just really sorry. I used to be very quick on my feet.
It's okay.
MANNE. Okay. Maryann.
Yep, at encorecreativity.org. Is there a way, Dexter or Barbara, when you send out the recording, that you can put that information in that message, perhaps? That might be the easiest.
Yeah, we can.
All right.
And Miss
We'll
Jean,
take
do you
care
want
of
to
it.
Jean, if you want to stay on later, we can leave your phone number. I can call you back and I'll give you the information so you can take your time and write it down.
Okay, that would be great.
You hang on and we'll get you your information, honey. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Oh, thank
Thanks
you.
for stepping up and asking, because I can guarantee you that this will definitely prolong and keep using it. This is going to stimulate. Nothing can cure what you have, but definitely it will make it a better walk for you and
Thank you.
enjoyment.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking too. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful.
Awesome. Look at this. So it's 11:59, I guess.
You want to
We've
talk about our
covered-
next coffee chat?
Yeah. So our next coffee chat will be about respite care. And watch out, it's the same day, third Wednesday of the month. And we'll be giving you the registration link along with the replay link, the presentation notes, the contact info, and everything that you will need. All right. So watch out in your inbox. And we
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
everyone for attending today. We hope you were blessed by this session, and please help us spread the word. Okay? If you found this
Yeah.
helpful, spread the word. Tell your friends and other friends about our monthly coffee chats happening again every third Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. EST. A huge thank you, of course, to our wonderful guest, Dr. Marianne East,
Yeah.
for sharing
you.
your expertise and passion with us. And of course, we appreciate each of you being here. Visiting Angels is a home care company that provides non-medical care for clients at home, helping you stay safe, comfortable, and engaged in life. So just, holler at us if you need to,
Yeah.
All right. Barbara, anything you want to say?
I just stay on if everyone wants to go ahead and jump off. Miss Jean, if you'll stay on just for privacy, I'll grab your phone number.
Right, I will.
And thank you, everyone. Please tell your friends and family about us. We are a non-medical home care company. We do believe in engaging with our clients, and part of singing. I do have a day job, but I will practice my breathe in and breathe out in the shower, maybe the car, because that way people can, lip sync and they won't necessarily have to hear me. But, there's a lot of shower and car singers, I think, on this situation here. And what a beautiful voice, Marianne, you have. I mean, I tell you, God gives special gifts to angels, and we're looking at you being our angel here today. So, yes, thank you very much. We appreciate it. So if you want to go ahead and jump off and tune in next month, Respite Care is a special program that is for Montgomery County residents. And if you are taking care of a loved one, or if you are living with them in the same household, there is a government grant that will allow to help pay for home care. And there's no income required. So this is very important. So if you know people that need some care and are struggling a little bit, they can get a combination of some private pay and some of the grant program. Please pass the word. This is very important. And then a month after that, we're going to be talking about Parkinson's. So every month we have something special.
At Visiting Angels, we're committed to enriching the lives of elders and their significant others. Our monthly coffee chat sessions aim to make your lives easier and better by providing quality information from our expert panelists. We're here to elevate your quality of life, offer practical wisdom, and ensure you have access to valuable insights. See you again next third Wednesday of the month.